Alright, so welcome back to College Football 25 and Building the Chippewas. Gonna simulate 2030 and hope that we can build upon a top 25 recruiting class last season with another strong class packed full of 4 stars and maybe, just maybe, if it's even a possibility, even a 5-star. And also, think about last year in our Madden franchise modes. By the time 2030 came around, we were always pretty much wrapping them up. I think the farthest we ever went was 2020 or 2035. This one is only just beginning, it seems. We are still probably a long ways away. We're going to need probably 2 or 3 recruiting classes as strong as this last one that we had. Probably to even be competitive and even finish the season ranked. Before we get into the recruiting, I want to give one last chance at editing our schedule. I'm going to just drop that FCS game, which would give us 3 bye weeks. I really don't know what happened here, but I'm going to come down here and try and schedule ourselves a game. Just do something and see where we go. Like a UMass. Does this work? No, it doesn't. So we're pretty much just locked into this schedule, unfortunately. And it's only unfortunate because this season probably isn't going to go all that great. We got 3 straight Big Ten teams to start the year. Now, I have no idea how good Michigan State and Indiana are at this point in the dynasty. But Penn State starts this season ranked number 1. San Diego State, they finished last year 1-11. Feel like we might have a chance. FCS East, if we lose that game, things have gone terribly wrong. But we'll see how this goes. Play Penn State? I'm sure we may at some point, but we're not playing that game. So good to see at least one 4-star just right up there towards the top when it comes to recommended. We're going to go through the 5-star prospects. Now, I don't think any of these guys are really thinking about us right now. But I think it's worth a shot. We actually have a quarterback from Michigan, and his deal breaker is proximity to home. I don't expect this to go very well for us, but I can't not try, right? That just makes too much sense. So we're going to want to do this pretty conservatively here. And it might just be that one quarterback. I mean, let's be honest here. We're going to have to... Ooh, hello. We've got a couple 5-star corners here in this class. And 2 of them are from Michigan. Now, we're not on their board yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't be. I feel like that opportunity is just too good to pass up. What am I doing? 4-star prospects. This is not a year where we need a quarterback. So, even though it says it's a need, we have Paul Spitz, who, unless he leaves, we're going to be okay. Which is why that little bit of doubt in your head kind of makes you want to go after one. But we're on the board for so few of these guys, I'm not sure. There is one from Ohio, Jeremy Hicks. I mean, that's got a chance. New rule, no national champion after 15 years, the coach retires. I don't know about 15, because, I mean, think about it, we're already through, what, 6? This is going to be year 7, I believe. But we're not going to go... I don't know how long Dynasty Mode can go. But we're not going to go the full distance. I know I've seen people in, like, the late 2040s, so... Running back not listed as a need. We do still have Britain last name, I forget. So, I think we're going to be okay here for now. Fullback, we just got one. Receivers is a position that even though it's not a need, I would like to go after. How is this sorted? The better ones are up here towards the top, so the best ones for us to go after in terms of potential skill would be Deontay Dillard or Mike Huntley. I'm going to add Dillard to the board. We don't need to go too crazy on wide receiver. Tight ends, we kind of missed out when it came to our 4-star tight end a year ago. So I'd like to get somebody, and David Marsh out of Ohio is probably the best one for us to do that. There we go. We got a 4-star center, Charleston Best. In-state recruit. We're 8th on his board currently, but we can make some work happen to hopefully get him on the CMU Chippewas. He's the only one that necessarily makes sense. There's another Ohio one. Adrian Manziel. They put Manziel in the game? That's funny. Got an in-state recruit there in Barrios. 3rd at his position. 3rd best right guard, or 3rd best offensive guard. That's something I can't ignore. Center's not a need. Defensive end is a need. So let's take a look here at the list, see if any one of these guys makes sense for us. David Ogle here, best player in the state of Pennsylvania. That is a great thing if the CMU Chippewas can get that. And then there was also another one down here, a little bit farther down the board out of Wisconsin. Tony Lemon. 2nd best player in the state of Wisconsin. And, I mean, it's a position in need. I feel like that's too good to pass up as well. What? His name is Lemon. Nothing can go wrong. We're going to be pretty aggressive when it comes to defensive tackles this year. Demarius Dorsey, Illinois, so close by. Doug Sprinkle. Randy Rashad or Rashad? I have no idea. We'll add him to the board as well. We'll add 3 4-star defensive tackles. Outside linebacker is always a need. DeAndre Lovelace. Let's add him. Evan Fales out of Virginia is probably close enough. His deal breaker is actually playing time, which I don't think he's going to struggle with when it comes to CMU, so let's add him to the board. I'm also going to add 4-star outside linebacker Montrell Cheeseman, 6th best player in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm pretty much just going to fill up the board with 4-stars this year, I think. Might as well put the effort in early before we miss out on these guys, because they're going to go off the board and you're not going to be able to talk to them from a very early point on. So I feel like if you just be aggressive right off the start, I mean, that's your best chance at loading up your recruiting class at 4-stars. Number 1 player in the state of Ohio. Now, it's going to be some tough competition for 4-star athlete Glenn Sturm, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to go with, let's see, Utah. Hey, he's got a playing time deal breaker. That's perfect here for Bobby Schlereth. Corners, we were pretty aggressive when it came to the 5-stars. We added 2 to the board. Don't think we're probably going to get either one, so, I mean, is corner really a need? No. It is a little bit scary to see a corner here with the last name Vildor. Lions franchise hasn't had great luck with that, but we'll add him. Also add Trey Rochelle. Safety apparently isn't a need either. What is a need? Define a need, because now that we know how to recruit, we can get better players here. Ray Costello, Drew Spears. Oh, hey, here we go. We got a 4-star safety out of Clinton Township, Marco Cook. add him, and then also get a little bit more aggressive, head up towards the top of the board. Now, a lot of these guys have locked this out already. The very, very top when it comes to 4-star strong safeties. So we'll go with Noah Martino. Oh, wow. The #1 kicker in this class is actually from Michigan. We have such an easy time recruiting specialists anyway that I think that this is a no-brainer to add him to the board, even though we don't necessarily need him. So the best 3-star punter, which is the highest that punters go, that's going to talk to us is Kashim Harding. I might as well just add him to the board. For the looks of it, he doesn't have a deal breaker, so that's good. And I think we just start this recruiting cycle with our board not full. Let us focus on every single one of these 4 and or 5 stars that we've added to this board and worry about the 3 stars later because there's plenty of them. So now that scholarships are sent out, let's do some scouting on the #1 quarterback in the class, Earl Dicker. Not a bust, so that's good news. We're sure to find some. Hopefully we find more gems than busts. That never really happens all that much, but we haven't found a gem or a bust thus far. I stand corrected. Deontay Dillard is indeed a gem. Have we finally singled out this well enough to the point that we're actually going to have more gems than busts? We're 3-0. 3-0 on... We have 3 gems on our board right now. We'll put it that way. Going dicks to butts. Oh, boy. There is not a single bust on our board right now. We have 4 gems, though. We're only... This can only go for so long. And, of course, it's fucking Cheeseman. Man, that blows. Alright, that's our 5th gem. Holy shit. And that's our points for the week. So we're able to scout down to 19th. To be honest, I'm going to recruit these guys down here anyway. Let's see how it goes when we get into week 0. Well, the good news is that we didn't get locked out by many. A couple of the defensive tackles already named their top 8, but everybody else is still here. So we're able to spend 70 hours on Earl Dicker. That's interesting. With 450 hours to spend, this is going to get interesting real quick. We're going to start with 60. Hell, I mean, this is a 5-star. We better do everything we can and go with 65. I don't know if that's going to matter that much. We're going to spend a lot of our hours here in the early stages on these 5 stars. Go 60 on Kenoy. 60 on Browning. And then we can be a little bit more conservative on the 4 stars. Probably go 25 on as many of them as we can right now. And see what we have for hours as we head into week 1. Do I expect a lot of this to work? No, of course not. But does it mean we're not going to try? No, of course not. We're going to get about halfway down the board, a little over halfway. So we're going to spend these 15 hours here on Evan Fails, see where our hours stack up heading into next week. Got hours, that's good news. Not many, though. Hicks, the 4-star, has already locked us out. We're not really all that close on Earl Dicker, which is kind of to be expected. But once again, doesn't mean we're not going to try. Locked out on Cheeseman, locked out on Sturm, locked out on Vildor, locked out on Costello, locked out on Spears, locked out on Martino. So there's not many of these guys left that we haven't done anything with. So we'll spend the 25 that we have this week on Bobby Schlereth. And I mean, if we get both of the 5-star corners, which is highly unlikely, We won't need Rochelle. We didn't need a safety in the first place, nor a kicker or a punter, so I'm not really too upset about neglecting those positions. Oh, Christ. This team is doing it again, man. Start of 2030. We lose to the Michigan State Spartans by 2. Let's take a look here. Earl Dicker, we're in second spot. We keep doing this and Michigan State kind of cools off a little bit. We might just get ourselves a 5-star quarterback. We're already in the top 5, which is just outstanding. We're trailing Michigan State also, but just barely, on Terrence Kenoy, and trailing Michigan on Cameron Browning. All of the 5 stars that we have targeted. Dillard, we're a little bit behind. I mean, I feel like we've spread out these hours a little bit too much, you know? We should get some more next week when it comes to Rochelle getting off the board, but I don't know. I'm willing to just kind of let it ride for now, even though it doesn't look very good. I don't think we're leading on a single one of these guys. Okay, so one of our bigger losses in the last 2 seasons by 6 to Indiana. Let's be honest. We're gonna start 0-3 in non-conference play. I just couldn't change the schedule. We got #1 Penn State. We should get just absolutely ass blasted here. And the only problem here is that there's just not a way to be able to contact the friends and family, but still send the house on him, unfortunately. So, I don't know. It's not looking very good, but we are leading on Kenoy and on Browning. Probably going to flip-flop all over the place as the season goes along. All of a sudden, we're leading on Dillard. We're in the top 5 on Marsh, leading on Best. Trailing on a lot of these guys, leading on Schlereth. I'm willing to just let it ride. We'll add some 3 stars to the board later in the year. Guys. The CMU Chippewas have just beat the #1 team in the country. Now, I'm going to guess that Penn State must be way overrated then, because we lost to Michigan State and we lost to Indiana, but again, in tight games. And now, we did make this a home game, to be fair. Well, actually, we didn't. The game did it itself, but oh my God. We just beat Penn State, which is hard enough alone. #1 Penn State by 6. How are things going here in recruiting? I don't know. I'm going to send the house off for a second. Let's go. I mean, I feel like send the house is just the way to go when it comes to this, because yes, we can get a big boost if we win this game, but if we lose, we're done. I feel like the best way to continue to go about this is just to send the house. It's just gotta be the way. How are we doing on everyone else? Still leading on Kenoy. Michigan jumped us on Browning. Leading on Dillard. We're top 3 on Marsh, but no hours to spend on him. Is there anybody here on the board that we're probably just realistically not gonna get? As of right now, not really. Now, we don't have anything going on the punter, Kashim Harding, which is a little worrisome because I do want him. But eventually, somebody's gonna commit somewhere else, and we're gonna get some hours freed up. All right, there we go. Convincing win over San Diego State, who's already tied their win total from a year ago. Central Michigan goes to 2-2. One final game in non-conference play here against FCS East. I wish I could have changed it. I feel like we're at the point where we don't need to schedule FCS at all before back-to-back fucking bye weeks. Remember, this is a game-generated schedule. I didn't do this. So, Earl Dicker not looking very good. He is really close to committing to Michigan State. Kenoy we lead on. But, I mean, look at the competition in here. We got 4 Big Ten teams. Browning, we're neck and neck with Michigan, but he's got a visit upcoming, so that's bad news. Dillard, we have a slight lead on over Clemson. Marsh was the only one to commit this week, so we do have some hours to spend. I just wish I could spend them on Dicker to try and do something, man. Actually, well, no, we can't. So, I mean, there's just no way really to do this. Ever since the hours increased, it kind of messed up my math. Like, I had a system to do this, and all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore because we can't get it perfect, but I don't know. Does he have a visit scheduled, Earl Dicker? Yes, he does, but late in the season. However, he's probably going to commit to Michigan State this next week. We can spend 5 more hours on Kenoy, and I think that's going to be worth it with how tight it seems that race is. Michigan State. And then we can also do the same on Browning just to try and gain any advantage whatsoever. 15 hours to spend anywhere else, and I'm going to actually go with the punter. Because at last checked, Jacques Cottom, we didn't really have much competition on. Marco Cook, not looking very good. Still looking good on Schlereth. We're in it for fails. We're only slightly out of it when it comes to Lovelace. We're top 3 on Dorsey. Second on Lemon. Leading on Ogle. Barrios is up in the air. Leading on Manziel. Leading on Best. Leading on Dillard. Well, no loss to FCS East, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. That is our lowest point total of the season. 23-10 win over FCS East. 38 points here, 28 there, 39 and 29. What the hell? I thought they nerfed these teams. Okay. So, as expected, Earl Dicker does go to Michigan State. But we are still in the running when it comes to the other 2 5-stars. The only unfortunate part is that they are at the same position. Kenoy and Browning. Now, we're kind of losing ground on Browning to Michigan, but Kenoy we lead over Michigan State, but he's got a visit upcoming. So, that's a little scary. We're now trailing on Dillard. I don't know if 15 hours is going to be enough to get him in our good graces. We're going to get Best some things here. Let's focus on the gems, actually. Let's spend 15 points on all the gems that we have remaining on our board here. We did not make the top 3 on Lovelace, which is unfortunate because he was one of the gems. Cook we're out on. Schlereth, we made the top 5, but more work is going to have to be done. So we're going to we're going to spend 15 hours there. We can't spend 15 hours on fails unless we do this. Let's spend the 25 and then the 15. Dorsey, we're kind of trailing on. Can I spend 5 hours over here on Tony Lemon? Yes, we can. So Browning goes to Michigan. Once again, we expected that to happen. Kenoy, however, I mean, this is still a very tight race when it comes to Terrence Kenoy. We lead, but barely over Michigan, and he's got visits upcoming. And I mean, we can't have the visit sway that the big schools have. So I feel like our best chance is just to continue doing what we're doing there. I'm going to back this off and see if we can't math this out a little better to get him closer. We're going to spend 65. That works for me. Hopefully that's enough, but I somehow suspect it's not. I mean, we're up against Clemson here. Best, we might be in a little bit of rough shape. Let's rework this a little bit. Let's spend that full 65 on him. Manziel? Oh, all of a sudden, Manziel flipped on us. All right. So let's get this off. Okay. Barrios. Same deal. Let's just reset this and spend that full 65 on Tyreek Berrios. Ogle. We're actually fine on Ogle for now. Lemon, we're going to have to do something on, but I just don't know what we're going to be able to do. That gets us 45 hours. We're locked out here on Dorsey. Fails, commits to West Virginia. How are we on the punter? Leading by a good margin. I'm going to take the 15 points away from him this week. And then head back up to Ogle. Wait, was it Ogle? Who was it? Who were we looking at? We were looking at Lemon. All right, let's actually take a little bit away from Schlereth. I only need, I think, 5. Oh. Well, no, we still only need 5 points. So we'll take away that social media search for the week. We got 65. So we'll go ahead and do that. Actually, no, we've got 75. Well, no, we don't have enough hours for that. So we'll spend the 65 and hope that's enough to sway Tony Lemon this week. All right. 4-star gem in Charleston Best commits to Michigan State. We're back to that. Berrios, we didn't make his top 3. Tony Lemon commits to Iowa. It was just one last chance. But Kenoi is still a possibility. It's just not looking very good. Wisconsin jumped us because they had a visit in there, I do believe. We were 3-2, and then there were 2 bye weeks. So there is still a chance here on Kenoi. Just not very likely. Deontay Dillard. I mean, there's a chance. This is a really tight race. We'd be in week 8 here. So the visit with Wake Forest won't come into effect, I don't think. Unless I'm entirely wrong. Are we in week 8? We are in week 8. So that's going to work to our advantage because he's really, really close. There's just no way to max out his points in the way that I'd like to. I just don't understand how soft sell works, to be honest. Manziel, we're kind of doing what we can. We could spend some more points on Ogle. Might as well just max him out. Schlereth. We could do some work on Schlereth. Back that out. And send the house on him. Still doing good on Cottom. What about Harding? Still good there. So let's head into the prospect list because I think we've done everything we can for the most part, give or take 5 hours on some of these guys to try and get them here. So let's head into the prospect list and add in some 3s or maybe even some stray 4s. We've got 1 4-star running back in Jalen Schote. Sure. Add him. Receivers, there's a couple. Jamison Smith and Tony Wiggum still out here on the board. Is this sorted by... I mean... It's not terrible. I feel like the better players are down here towards the bottom. Unfortunately. Now... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that happens. Still leading on Ogle. That's good. Everyone else committed. Defensive tackle, no. There, no. We got Schlereth as a target. Safety, not a need. Well, looks like it's going to be 3 stars from here on out. And maybe a strong incoming transfer portal pool. So we're going to skip the 3-star quarterbacks because we do still have Paul Spitz, presumably for a couple more years. Head into our positions of need. And we're going in the wrong direction there. Let's add 1 receiver, Adrian Barkow. Tight ends. We got a couple here. A couple 3-star tight ends out of the state of Michigan. Although this one seems to be working in the complete opposite direction. So let's head down the board here. All these guys are committed. Or at least far enough along in their recruiting that they're not going to talk to us. Tony Favre, 31st best tight end. And Brian Willie. Offensive tackle. Let's add a couple. 20th best offensive tackle, Orlando Obi. I like that. 15th best offensive tackle, Manny Minor. And continue to scroll here. See if we can't find any low numbers when it comes to their position rank. No, those guys are in their top 8. So let's add one of these guys in the 30s. Wait, what? 15th? Oh, Manny Minor. Right. Javier Babcock. Offensive guard. We got a couple here that are recommended. 34th best guard in Ruben Duhan. 16th best in Carlos Power. 23rd best in Niles Vick. Let's add in a center just because. And then 35th best, Devontae Fayad. Defensive tackles, we missed out on, I think, all of the 4-stars that were on our board, so it's going to have to be 3 stars here. Let's just look for the best available. Earl Bettis. Everyone else in the top 8, so Jeremiah Amerson. We've had good luck with Amersons here. 27th best, Frederick Gayton. Outside linebacker. Let's see who's still straggling around here. 25th best, DeMarcus Cantwell. Everyone else is blocked off. Okay. Well, we'll add Donnell Nesbitt to the board as well. 22nd best middle linebacker, Chauncey Hamrick. Like the prospects of that. Rodney Goodspeed. Another phenomenal name. I mean, corner may not be totally essential, and we're going to see some higher numbers here, surely. Looks like the best ones that are going to be available to us are in the 70s, 80s, something like that. Keenan Bibbs here, 68th. Perfect here, 67. What about safety here? Free safety. Not exactly a need for us. Jimmy Tinker. Go to strong safety and add one. Which is actually a need. Emmanuel Glennon. Alright. That works. A bunch of guys added to our board. I don't know if we can offer scholarships to all of them this week. But we're certainly going to try. Our board's been filled up with 3 stars. And our search for 4 stars has not gone overly well. So I don't know. Just might not be at that point yet where we can reliably get classes like we got last year. All right, well, some good news. Fernando Santiago, safety, earns MAC Defensive Player of the Week. 2 picks, including a pick 6. All right, well, this is our first MAC game of the year. We don't win by much, but we do beat Ohio by 2 points. To improve to 4-2 in the year, 1-0 in MAC play. Now let's check the damage. So Kenoy, who was the final 5-star left on our board, does indeed go to Michigan. That sucks. Dillard, who was the 4-star gem, goes to Clemson. That was a tight race. Manziel to Michigan. We're missing out on a lot of 4-stars this year. But we do still have a couple chances. We're locked out on Smith. Wingham, we still have a fighting chance if we can really get things going here this week. We're going to spend a whole bunch of hours on him. And then we're probably just going to spend some hours as we see fit. Shoat, we don't have any bit of progress on. Let's go 25. Actually, let's go 35 here on Shoat. Because who knows how many more times we're going to have to do this. Same sort of deal. We'll do that there. We're not there on Favre. We're not there on Willie, but it's to be expected. This is actually looking pretty rough, and we don't have to spend this many hours, but once again, there's so many 3-stars out there that we can do a little bit now, a little bit later. That's one of our more impressive wins of the last couple seasons, 44-26 over Miami, Ohio, who is 0-3 in MAC play. We start MAC play off 2-0. Now, Kent State is not a team we've had a lot of success over. A little bit unfortunate through this point in building the Chippewas. Northern Illinois is ranked. They're undefeated. That could be a big game. Western Michigan, 2-1 in the MAC. Toledo's 0-3. Eastern's 1-1. I mean, there's still a chance here on David Ogle. I mean, we might finish this class with no 4-stars. That's a distinct possibility right now. Well, there we go. We have our first commit of 2030 for the 2031 class. 4-star middle linebacker Bobby Schlereth. Good. We at least get one 4-star on this team. It's not going to be the 7 that we got last year, but I mean, hey, with a strong class last year, next year, or maybe the year after, could be pretty good. Oh, man. Kent State has really been a thorn in our side all throughout building the Chippewas. We beat them here 24-17. Beat them by a touchdown. They fall to 1-3 in the MAC. We have got a massive opportunity in front of us right now, albeit at number 10 Northern Illinois. To win this game, and it kind of surprised me that we weren't ranked after beating number 1 Penn State. They're still number 11, and we have that win under our belt. But we win this game, you get 2 top 10 wins. I mean, I just, even with the 2 losses, I just don't see how we're not ranked. Got some points here as Ogle goes to Wisconsin. Not a very nice year for recruiting. All right, well, we're leading on all these guys outside of Manny Minor. So let's rework this a little bit. Give ourselves 35 points back before we spend, let's go 60 here on Minor. Duhan, we lead. Power, there's work to be done. So 60 there. Vic, nowhere near on him. I mean, we don't really have to do that much, though, I don't think, to make the top 8 on these guys. So we're going to back all this off and kind of spread these hours out a little bit. 125 hours left after we backed off our aggressive approach. To the point that, I mean, these are 3-stars. We shouldn't have that much trouble at least making their top 8 and making moves from that point on. We've already offered them a scholarship, which is something they probably don't have from a lot of schools. So I feel like that's the best way for us to go. Now, we're not going to be able to get everybody right now because we still have a couple of those guys we're really heavily invested in. But we'll be able to get 20 of the 27, at least partially done. This is very, very encouraging. MAC Defensive Player of the Week, Ray Chavis, junior quarterback. 1 pick. It was a pick 6 and 8 tackles. What a game. So we beat Northern Illinois by 3, 17-14. Northern Illinois is still ranked 15th. And I do believe we're still unranked. Interesting. All right, so we're going to upgrade our coach just a little bit. Let's get this, because I always neglect this, to Tier 2. Linebackers or defensive line? Finesse, move, and block shedding, pursuit, and play recognition. Finesse, move, and block shedding for the defensive line. MAC Defensive Player of the Week yet again. Trent Beard, junior defensive end. 2 sacks, 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. So there it is. That is our first MAC loss, but we still remain second in the MAC. Toledo has not won a MAC game all year. They're 2-8. Eastern has just finally gotten a winning record at 3-2. So there we go. 34-21 win over Toledo. Improved to 5-1 in the MAC. Second in the conference. Now we've got a game at home against Eastern Michigan to secure our spot in the MAC championship. Recruiting is still just blocked out. We haven't really looked in here in a hot second. We're still looking good on the kicker, Jacques Cottom. We're looking good on the punter, Kashim Harding, even though North Texas is coming around. Lead on 4-star athlete, Jalen Schote. Lead on 4-star wide receiver, Tony Wiggum. That's good. Lead on Barkow. Lead on Favre. Lead on Willie. Lead on Obi. Lead on Minor. Just trailing on Javier Babcock. We're in a pretty good spot when it comes to most of these guys down here. However, we did get locked down on a good chunk down here towards the bottom. Bro, are we actually fucking serious? Now, I guess I shouldn't say that. I mean, Eastern Michigan had a good season. But man, oh man, what a run we went on. And then to lose 2 of our final 3 games, and we miss out on the MAC championship at 8-4. Oh, kill me. But let's be honest, we didn't have great expectations for this season anyway. That just really, really fucking sucks. Second commitment of the season, 3-star wide receiver Adrian Barkow. Not who we wanted, but oh well. And from Gainesville. Damn. Oh, we actually get a couple. Orlando Obi at left tackle. Manny Minor at left tackle as well. Well, the late pitch to 4-star running back Jalen Schote works out. He commits to Central Michigan. Felix Durbin out of Washington wins the Heisman. That is not the strongest Heisman campaign I have ever seen. Little over 3,000 yards, 34 touchdowns. We've seen numbers in the 50s. But I mean, it's good, but damn, the Heisman? We are headed to the Myrtle Beach Bowl, unfortunately. Yeah, that blows. I mean, to be in 1-score games against Big Ten opponents, could have been undefeated heading into that. But this season will be remembered for beating the #1 team in the country and just not getting rewarded for it whatsoever.